Hello! Hi! This is Alex. Welcome back to the channel. I'm sitting in the yellow chair, so it's time for tips and tricks. I want to make this chair like the knowledge yellow chair, the yellow chair of knowledge. So whenever I sit in this, I'm about to share some tips, some tricks, and we're about to learn stuff. Or maybe, share stuff if you know some things about the topic I'm talking about. Feel free to share it in the comments and let's all learn and share our knowledge. In today's video, we're gonna talk about tips and tricks for when you're painting on fabric. I had a conversation the other day with a friend and he was asking me for some advice regarding a t-shirt project. He wanted to paint on it and he was asking, how can I paint on t-shirts and not have the paint spilled through the back of the clothing? And I was like, well, easy. You take a piece of cardboard, you stick it under, and voila. And he was like, I watch your videos and I think this could be a really helpful topic to share some stuff, about this fabric painting world. So thank you for that idea. I'm doing it now. And yeah, let's get to it. Number one, when you're painting on a t-shirt and you want the paint not to spill over the back, just take a piece of cardboard, a piece of paper even, and put it under. That way you will have the paint only transfer to that paper. My advice is to not use necessarily like the copy paper because it tends to be too thin, and if you're using a lot of paint, the paper might actually stick to the back of your t-shirt and it's gonna be a mess to remove. It's gonna stick. It's not fun. So just use a piece of cardboard you have from a box. You can even use the back of a sketchbook pad. They're usually pretty thick, so it's gonna be really good, and you can reuse it for a long time. Tip number two, when you're painting a denim jacket or when you're painting dark colored t-shirts, make sure to apply a base, and that base can be just some white paint because that will make sure and that will help you have really colorful designs as opposed to just slapping the color on. It's not gonna be nice. It's gonna sip into the fabric, even if you're using opaque fabric paints. For example, Pebeo has the opaque fabric paint, but it's still not gonna be useful, and you're gonna end up using a lot of paint. You're gonna have to add multiple layers. So just add a layer of white paint. I've seen some people also use gesso, but to be fair, I think gesso tends to crack. So just white paint or pale pink or any light bright paint will do. Let's go to tip number three, which is use a hair dryer to dry your layers. When you're first applying that base, you want to get to the next step as fast as you can, and you have to wait because if you're adding paint on top of the already wet first layer, it's gonna mix. It's not gonna be nice. It's gonna look murky and you don't want that. So use your hair dryer and lightly dry the first layer. Tip number four. So this is for when you want to create those whimsical designs and you want to add some specks, you want to add some dots, and you want to make the stars. And a really easy way to do that and not actually have to manually add those little dots is to use your handy dandy toothbrush. We all have them laying around, or at least I do. I keep multiple toothbrushes to clean the house, around the house, like on the edge of the window or at the sink. They're really good for spot cleaning different things and for details. So yeah, they're really good for creating specks as well. Just take your toothbrush, dab it into some white paint, and just splash it. And voila, you have really cool fairy-like stardust. Tip number five, you have this design in mind and you created it, you draw it, to use transfer paper. Transfer paper used by tattoo artists, and I don't know, but in Romania we still have that. It's, I don't know how it's called, but we call it indigo paper, hârtie de indigo, and usually it's a bluish type of paper, really thin. You put the fabric, you put that paper, and then on top of it you put the paper with the design, and you kind of trace over the design, and then when you remove those when you remove that purple paper, you will have the design. I'm gonna show it to you right now. So if you can get your hands onto that, really helpful. And I think it really works with tattoo transfer paper. I think you can find it on Amazon probably, so make sure to check that out. Unfortunately, and I need to mention this, this doesn't really work on darker colored, but for that I have another I have another trick. You can use that, you can create your design on an A4 Xerox paper, copy paper, the white thin one, and then you're gonna put that paper onto your fabric and really trace the design, like making sure to push a bit, not too much because you don't want to rip that paper, but if you're pushing, it should leave an indent, like a white outline. It's gonna be pretty faded, but it might actually help you at least have an idea of your design. Bonus tip: if you enjoy watercolors and you want to create a t-shirt that has that watercolor design, say watercolor 5 times, I dare you. So if you want to have that design and that style, you can use the technique you're using with regular painting, and that is wet on wet. So basically you're gonna wet your t-shirt, soak it, make sure to soak that the part where you're applying the design, and then with your fabric paint diluted, you want to make sure it's liquid, start creating the design, and it's gonna create these beautiful shapes. These are some tips. Let me know in the comments if you have some other tips to share, because to me, because I've been doing this for a while, some of the things seem really obvious, and then some of the things not. So it really helps if you tell me, yeah, this is obvious, duh, or yeah, I didn't think about this. Anyways, I hope you enjoy your day. See you in the next one. Bye.